Good afternoon, my people. What is going on? It is your main man, Charles Tank Harris, the founder and chief visionary officer of the financial literacy platform Wealth Our Way, where our motto is wealth is not only for the wealthy. I want to welcome each and every one of you to episode 144. The tax deadline is looming. Before we get into all of that, I got to practice the attitude of gratitude and say thank you to each and every one of you who are here with me live as I stream across the Wealth Our Way Facebook page and the Wealth Our Way Network YouTube page. Please don't forget to subscribe to that YouTube channel for us. Also, want to give the Wild Nation salute to all the many members of Wild Nation who watch this program pre-recorded overnight, over the weekend, wherever they can squeeze 15 minutes of financial literacy in. And then a heartfelt how are you to the good folks on the Life 101 platform who listen to the audio of this very here program. What is going on? I gotta say thank you again to our amazing guests last night. Let's give it up for Natasha Wilson and Kyrie Terrell of the Bay brand. They just came on and just showed you what a young dynamic couple looks like, how they're doing great things together. And I was so thankful to have them on the program last night discussing working with Bay and how you get along with your spouse or significant other in the workplace when you share a business together. What I want to talk to you guys about today is the fact that the tax deadline is looming. It would be tomorrow, which is Friday, April 15th. But as most of us know, tomorrow is Good Friday. So they have extended it till Monday, April 18th. What does that mean? So for a guy like myself, I never file my taxes on the deadline. I always file an extension. I started to give it away. I file an extension. What you need to know, though, when you file an extension, it does not give you an extension on paying your taxes. I know it sounds really weird how you would not file your tax return, but you would pay your taxes. You should be working with a tax professional who could give you an idea of what your tax obligation is. And you file the extension and send in the payment for your taxes at the same time you're filing the extension. And then you have 6 months, in this case, until October 18th, to actually file your return. Why would you do that? If you're a person like me, I do a lot of different business ventures. And as a result, I'm constantly waiting for K1s, which are income verification from businesses that I get money from, limited partnerships, things of that nature. So you will sometimes have to file your return after the standard deadline because you don't have all the documentation required for your return. But if you don't pay, there is a failure to pay penalty, and then there's interest that accrues. My man Brew is telling you in the chat, you want to make sure you pay your taxes on time. What can we do with literally 2.5 business days left in the deadline? Well, if you have not made an IRA, individual retirement account contribution for the tax year 2021, and you have not filed your taxes yet, you can still make the contribution and get a write-off for the contribution. Just to give you some very vanilla how that works, what the write-off is. Let's say you made $50,000 last year and all your other deductions are set, but you got $5,000 laying around. If you got $5,000 laying around and you made 50 last year, kudos to you. But you got 5,000 laying around and you said, you know what? I'm going to contribute that into an IRA. The minute you put that into the IRA, you have lowered your income from 50,000 to 45,000 for tax purposes. So let's just say your tax rate is 15%, your effective tax rate. I'm not going to confuse you guys and talk about the marginal rate and how it blends, but your basic effective tax rate, let's just hypothetically say it's 15%. 15% tax on $50,000 is $750. That's 15% of 50,000. It's I'm sorry. I'm completely wrong. 15% of 50,000 is $7,500. I moved to zero. I apologize. $7,500 of taxes you would be expecting to pay. But if you contributed the $5,000 to an IRA and you take your taxable income down to $45,000, now you're paying 15% on $45,000. So instead of paying, what did we just say, $7,500, you would pay $750 less than that. So I don't know why I can't do math in my head today the way I always normally do it. So instead of paying $7,500, you would pay $6,750 of tax. And that savings is reflective of what you're saving by putting the money in your IRA. So that's my tip for all of you guys. Run out, fund an IRA. Doesn't matter how much you can put in it, $1,000, $1,500. First of all, you should be saving for your retirement. Second of all, you want the tax break. I got to tell you guys a quick story. I was just in Wells Fargo Bank, and I don't care if Wells Fargo finds Big Tank and sues me for what I'm about to say. It's a true story, so you can't get sued for telling the truth. I do not like Wells Fargo Bank. I still use them, but I don't care for them all that much. They have some very unscrupulous business practices, a history of unscrupulous business practices, and then I've heard a lot of rumors that last year they rejected over 60% of their minority applicants for refinances and first-time mortgages. Just have a horrible track record of dealing with minorities. So I was in the bank earlier doing a wire. First of all, it was just ridiculous how long they had me waiting. One of my pet peeves in customer service is when somebody is not able to do their job. So they had one teller at the bank teller who couldn't figure something out. The other two people who were working there were all helping her try to figure it out. So no one could help the customers. So I'm sitting here waiting to do this wire. Finally, someone comes and helps me to do the wire. And they start with the questions and they're grilling you. They don't know I have a background in financial services. I know the whole know your customer and the suspicious activity reports and things like that that have to get done in the bank. And I find it very disingenuous as they're trying to ask these questions to determine whether you're committing fraud or not, instead of just saying, hey, I got to check you for fraud, blah, blah, blah. So they're trying to make it conversational. Because I know it, I'm being difficult and I'm giving just enough answer because I know what's allowable and what's not. So we go through the transaction, and at the end, the woman tells me, well, wire cannot be done right now. It'll be done later in the afternoon because of the amount they needed to have another level of approval. That manager wasn't in as of yet. So here's where it gets a little, I wish I had a hidden camera. The lady says to me, I see you have a lot of credit cards in your wallet. Why don't you have a Wells Fargo credit card? And I say, get out my wallet. Like, we know this is not a Capital One commercial where you're supposed to be asking me what's in my wallet. Like, stay out my wallet, lady. You know, we're not dating. Look at all in my wallet. So I closed my wallet up real quick and aggressively. And I said to her, well, I don't have a Wells Fargo card because I'm not a huge fan of Wells Fargo. And she says, oh my God, why not? I said, well, Exhibit A, this situation right here. I can't get my wire done until 6 hours from now. That's problematic. I said, secondly, though, just the number of fictitious accounts you guys opened several years ago in people's names that were deceased, customers who didn't know they were getting new accounts, the harassing tactics that you used to make people open accounts so you guys could get bonuses, and the punishment that came down was such a minimal slap on the finger. I don't feel as though there was any real punishment or disincentivization to keep you guys from doing it in the future. And this is not to mention the horrible track record you have with lending to minorities. And when the PPP loan came out, how I, as a Black small business owner, couldn't get one from you guys. The woman her face just went stone. She had no answer. She said, well, we appreciate your business. Thank you. I love defeating people with facts. I love defeating people professionally, articulately, you know, when they have nowhere to go because they are dead ass wrong. And so, yeah, I told her, I said, well, I'll be moving my money to another bank as soon as time permits. Do not worry about that, ma'am. And my wire did just go through. I checked it about 20 minutes ago. So I want to tell you guys this. When you are out doing business, you are your own ambassador. You've heard me say this before. You have to fight for yourself. There's an old saying, caveat emptor, buyer beware. That is you everywhere you go. People will try you. They will minimalize you. we go to shop nowadays and you got no cashiers at the different stores. You're checking out your own items. You're not getting a discount for that. The companies are still making profit. We still hear stories of how much money Elon Musk has, Bill Gates have. The people at the top are still getting richer, and we are getting squeezed and asked more and more and more of ourselves. So keep that in mind as you move forward. One of the other things I want to leave you with for the weekend is something that I just learned myself. Actually, I didn't know Greenwood. So we're going to speak on big banks. Let's talk about our people. From what I'm hearing about Greenwood Bank, and once again, this is what I'm hearing. I don't know it to be factual. There is something about their charter that has not been approved and is not allowing them to open their doors as a bank. And they are not communicating that to the general public, all of us who are online waiting to get our bank account. So they're running podcasts and interviewing Rick Ross, and they're doing everything but being a bank because they can't move their charter forward right now. And I'm prayerful that they will be able to. I just wish they were communicating that to the general public, that they have not been able to get their charter for various reasons. I don't know if it's discriminatory. I don't know if they filed something incorrectly, but that is what I am hearing the holdup is. With that being said, I want to talk to you guys about mortgages because you guys know I'm renting right now, looking to get my house. I saw something on the internet, and I'm always telling you guys to be leery of what you hear on the internet because these financial pundits out here don't know what the hell they're talking about. And I got a whole story about that we'll get on Tuesday. But I did hear something that was true. I researched, and it just made sense to me. So one of the things I shared with you guys during the home buyers workshop was that I'm concerned about getting a 30-year mortgage or even a 15-year mortgage because I'm a 52-year-old person. I don't want a mortgage until I'm 80. I don't want a mortgage until I'm 70. And it never dawned on me to get a product like a 10-1 ARM where I could pay interest only on a fixed rate for the next 10 years, and then it adjusts in year 11 when I might not want a house at that point. So if I buy a house, and this happened to me in 2008, I bought a $800,000 house and was paying interest only on that mortgage. And I ended up with a lower interest on my $800,000 house than my principal and interest home back in New Jersey that I had moved out of and was renting to someone while I lived in Georgia because of the different products. So right now I'm going to look into a 10-1 ARM and just see what my options are. I will warn you, however, interest rates are rising and they're rising fast. I talked about hyperinflation on Tuesday. If you are buying your forever home, do not do what I am suggesting. I am telling you, this is the reason I'm educating you on this is because what you have to learn is that one size does not fit all. For me, I need a home for like the next 10 to 15 years tops, probably the next 8 to 10 years. My son is about to start high school. That's 4 years of high school, prayerfully 4 years of college. For the next 8 years, I need to be settled to tank. And then after that, I can dip off and do my thing. I don't care if I don't get any equity in my home. If I pay for it for 8 years, put nothing to the principal, and no more appreciation happens, and I simply sell it for what I got for it, I would still be paying less while I'm in that home than I'm going to pay in rent and have a bigger, more lovely, more useful, more permanent space with a predictable cost from a standpoint of, my living expense, not necessarily repairs, because I wouldn't be subject to rent increases. So I'm going to look into that 10-1 ARM. I'm going to have friend to the program, Miss Liz Paris, who you guys have seen. We're going to talk about that over the weekend because it's time for me to buy my crib. My lease ends the end of next month, and I got to get my life together and move into this crib. But I just thought it was so eye-opening when I saw this woman's explanation about her home, wanting to buy it for a few years and then move on, her and her boyfriend. Yeah, why do we think about 30-year mortgages, 15-year mortgages? There are so many other products that can lower our costs and work for us so long as we do what's right for us. Don't get locked into an adjustable rate mortgage that's going to go up in year 11 while rates are going through the roof. So with that all being said, tomorrow's Good Friday. I wish you all a Good Friday. Happy Good Friday. Happy Easter. I will see you all next Tuesday on 15 Minutes of Finance. Please remember, wealth is not only for the wealthy. You guys take care and have the greatest of weekends.